Funimation, to say the least, is a very untrustworthy company. They have a history of treating employees poorly, their employees have a history of treating other people poorly, and they promise a lot of content to consumers that never ends up existing. And today we are discussing a case of Funimation being shady as usual, as they have cancelled Interspecies Reviewers Dub and removed it from their streaming service for falling outside of their standards. Funimation has announced that they will no longer be streaming or dubbing Interspecies Reviewers, so the future of it is currently up in the air. For those unfamiliar, Interspecies Reviewers is a 2016 manga that was later adapted in 2020. Interspecies Reviewers sees a fantasy world where prostitution is legal. Human Stunk and Elf Zell are passionate about reviewing the services at various brothels and the fantasy species therein. On paper, the show could have been an ecchi show, literally meaning naughty, a subgenre of anime with sexual fan service, but Funimation later picked up the license to stream and dub the show by simulcasting the first episode at roughly the same time as its Japanese debut on January 11th. So as you can see, this show on Funimation did not last long. It lasted roughly 3 weeks before they decided they were going to pull it. The anime itself was revealed to be all but outright pornographic, more so than the manga. I have not watched it, but I did hear that they did add a lot more details into the show. A lot of scenes in the manga they really drew out in the show, which is good, because if you are watching this type of content, obviously you are not offended by it, you are not bothered by it, you want to watch it, you are okay with it. You have, in a sense, consented to seeing the material in it. Continuing on though, the show contained frequent and graphic sex scenes and genitalia or insertion, even censored, being the only thing not shown. Comments on Western social media were surprised that the show was practically hentai. Of course, people on the internet and on social media were surprised. Now, this could be a leading factor as to why the show was actually removed from Funimation's streaming service. We really do not know, but Funimation did respond to a user asking why the show had suddenly vanished from their website, and they responded in email saying, "Thank you for contacting Funimation support. We appreciate your business." After careful consideration, the series was removed from the service as it falls outside of our standards. We have the utmost respect for our creators, so rather than substantially altering the content, which, side note, they did alter some content in episode 1, we felt taking it down was the most respectful choice. What does Funimation mean by falling outside of their standards? Because I checked their website and I could not find anything that said their standards. It said content that they do not allow. Now, the reason why this bothers me so much is because Funimation does contain quite a lot of adult-themed content, a lot of content that is borderline ecchi. I used to pay for Funimation. I definitely will be reconsidering that now, but Funimation does offer a lot of good content if you are into watching anime. I do just want to point that out. They definitely fill a gap that a lot of other services that are very similar do not. But when Funimation acts like this is what makes me reconsider my subscription to their service. Because they are saying that it falls outside of their standards, but they are the ones that greenlit this series. This proves that Funimation does not actually look at the content that they are greenlighting to join their service, or else they would have known what this show's content was. They are not beating around the bush when it comes to this show. The description is very straightforward. The content in the show is very straightforward, so even looking at a simple description of this show, you would know what it is about. And Funimation cannot deny the fact that they must have had employees that looked at this content and went, alright, we're going to put this on our service. They should have known what the content was, and it's pretty awful that they aired 2 episodes, and then they all of a sudden decided to remove the content from their service. It really is disappointing to me. If you do not appreciate this type of content, that is fine. That is perfectly all right. But Funimation does provide other content that is very similar and that is very graphic. But that is all that I wanted to discuss today. I will be curious to see going forward if Funimation makes a public statement. Of course, they did respond in email to some people, but I would be curious to see if they address it anymore, or if they want to sweep this under the rug and act as if it never happened. But if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. But of course, if you did not, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.